This, ladies and gentlemen, is called vertex form of an equation. You should be able to look at that and go, yeah, and I know the vertex. Would you please write that equation, and then underneath it write vertex is what? What is the vertex? It's amazing on a 3-day weekend how easy it is to forget all the math that you learned. Who remembered that it was positive 3 comma 4? Raise your hand if you remembered that. Okay, awesome. Now, think about that. That's a dot. I want you to just sketch. That means not with perfect points. And this is not where it is. Where is the U shape? You should know where the vertex is, so you should be able to kind of get pretty close. All right, this is a pretty easy one, isn't it? You go over 3, up 4. Oops, right there. And then it's a U shape that goes up from there. Raise your hand if you had that one right. Cool. Is this a minimum spot, the vertex? That vertex there, is that a minimum or is that a maximum? Which one is it? It's a minimum. Do you remember me saying that if there was a negative, that then there would be, what's the word for that?
Max.
A max. This guy's name is Max. If there's ever a negative, then of course this thing would be upside down right there. Now I don't want you to think the vertex changes. Just because I put a negative out front, the vertex is still 3 comma 4. If I put a negative out front, it flips over like this. And now it isn't a minimum spot anymore, it's a what? It's a maximum. Okay. Now, there's that dotted line that runs down the middle. What's the equation for it? Take a second, write it down here. That line that runs down the middle, it's got a name, and you should know what its equation is. I've done this long enough that I know that it's x equals 3 without even looking at the graph because I look right here. Because I know that the vertex is on that dotted line. And so that dotted line has to go through this x right here. It's just that x. And it's the axis of symmetry. Axis. Get it? Axis of symmetry. All right, cool. So now the number one questions I got on today's homework were, what if it looks weird like this? What's the vertex on that one? Think about it. You can know. What is it? But it looks different. Yeah, it looks different. Raise your hand if you know. All right. Maybe 4 people. Ian, what do you think it is? All right. I know you're thinking there's a 1 right here, and you're right that there's a 1 right there, but it's not 1 comma 3, because what really you should be thinking about is what goes inside with this x. Wouldn't you think that maybe we could put a x plus 0, and then it'd be 0 comma 3? Do you see how I did that? You can add a plus 0 if you want to, and then that sort of makes it look like it's in the right form. Here, I'll write it nicer. See how I did that? It's basically the same equation. I just snuck a 0 in there so I could see what the vertex was. 0 comma 3. Okay. All right. Here's another one that's like that. This is a stealth vertex form. But there's only one number. Still, it's in vertex form. And the vertex would have to be 2 comma 0. Because isn't it like there's a plus 0 on the outside? So anytime you want to make it look more like vertex form, if it's missing one of the numbers, put a 0 there. All right. The other question I got a lot was this. But there's a number in the front. I don't know what the vertex is. You're overthinking it. The vertex on this, it doesn't care what the stretch factor or the flip is doing. The vertex is still the same. But it's not 3 comma 5. What is it? Negative 3 comma 5. Use the opposite of that number. Okay? All right. Now, I think, even though I didn't get any questions on this part, the hardest thing you'll have to do today is to take something like this and the question I would get would be, what's the vertex? Well, it's negative 3 comma 0. Okay, but what they didn't ask me, but honestly I think is the hardest thing, is if I need to get this into general form, aka standard form, both of those mean the same thing, general form, standard form. You just have to multiply it out. And it is the hardest thing because there's so many parts. You have to know, I'm going to split this into an x plus 3 and an x plus 3 because, you know, you can't just go x squared and 3 squared. That does not work. And then you have to do literally 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You have to do 8 steps in a row, right, to multiply this thing all the way out. 8 little things have to go right in a row before you get the right answer. So that's why I think this is the hardest part, even though nobody asked me about it, because they knew what to do. It's just whether or not you make a mistake in doing it. Okay, so would you please multiply this thing all the way out and get us general form? And the good news is that's it. That's why I was able to talk a little bit about the future today and the math behind your future. Because today's pretty easy. If you're not sure what to do first, please do this first because it was an exponent. And the PEMDAS thing, parentheses go first, but you can't actually add the x and the 3. So in PEMDAS, the e is exponents. That's why we're doing the squared first. That's why we're going to multiply this out first. And when we're done with that, we multiply everything by negative 2. That's 8 steps in a row that you have to do right. So please check it with the kid next to you when you're done. And I would bet you some of you made a little oops in there. I'll pause for a second while you work this out with the kid next to you. So I heard a fair number of people talking to the person next to him. Here's what you should have done. You'd add x squared plus 3x is 6x. I'm doing 2 steps in my head. That's dangerous. Plus 9. 3 times 3 is 9, right? And then I put the negative 2 here, and I got to multiply them all by negative 2. Final answer, negative 2x squared minus 12x minus 18, who had the same thing as me. Cool. Now, if I needed this thing to be in all 3 forms, this is called general form or standard form. This one was called vertex form. And weirdly, it's also factored form. I want you to rewrite this so it becomes more clear that it is in factored form. That means 2 sets of parentheses. Don't overthink this. Write it out so it has got 2 sets of parentheses all multiplied out. That's factored form. And I had already written it right here, and I circled it in green. That's factored form. And I want to remind you what factored form is good at. Here's one that's also in factored form. It tells me the 2x what? What's that other word? X what's? X-intercepts, good. It tells me the 2 x-intercepts. I know, they're 3 and 7. Nope. A reminder, on your next test, if you write a single number, you're doing it wrong. 3 is not the x-intercept. 3, 0, that is an x-intercept. And I want to pound this into your head. X-intercepts are where y is 0. See, look, there's a y is 0. And And y-intercepts are where x is 0. So this has two x-intercepts, 3, 0, and 7, 0. What's its y-intercept? Is that an alarm going on? Okay. There's y-intercepts are where x is 0, so watch what happens. I put in a 0, I put in a 0. What's negative 3 times negative 7? It's 21. My y-intercept on this thing is 21. See how fast that was? But if I just say 21, I'll get it marked wrong, because you can't just write a single number answer. So y-intercepts are where x is 0. Yay, I put in a 0. I figured out that it's negative 21. But if y-intercepts are where x is 0, then it's got to be 0, 21. All right. Cool. You learned everything. So now you just got to be able to do it when I give you a picture. So you do not have to copy this picture. You just have to be able to understand it and go, oh, I see. Your parabola appears to have those two x-intercepts and that vertex, and I can write the equation for that. I'll save, I know it's hard to read like from a distance. That's at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 right there, and the other one's at 7. And that spot right there is obviously in between them. It's at 6, negative 1. If those are my 3 key points, what's the equation for that thing? And you know the vertex, so write it in vertex form. All right, now, is it right side up? Has it got a max then? No, it's got a minimum. If it had a max, you'd have to have a negative in the front of it, your equation. So you don't want a negative on this one. All right, please compare your equation to the kid sitting next to you. Okay. Jack Breen, equation in vertex form.
Y equals, this is x minus 6 square root minus 1.
Yep, there you go. I can tell that the y-intercept would be way up there somewhere. The y-intercept is where what? Everybody say it after. We just heard him say it. The y-intercept is what? Say it together. Oh, apparently you don't know. Oh, good. Let's do it one more time. The y-intercept is where what? So you're going to have that question on your homework, and you're going to go y-intercept. Oh yeah, put in x equals 0. Look, I can do it in my head. 0, and then that's negative 6 squared. It's 36 minus 1 is 35. That's where it would touch up there. Is at 35. The y-intercept is where x equals 0. How about the x-intercept? What's the x-intercept? Where y is 0. See these guys? They are not 5 and 7. If I was asked to write them on a test, I'd have to write 5, 0. Because they're x-intercepts, so their y is 0. And this one would be 7, 0. Okay, good. I think you got enough so that you could do this now. Now there's some stuff on there that's like, same on your last test, where they're like asking you, what's the stretch factor on this? Like, has this one been stretched? No, because I just moved over 1 and up 1. What if I'd have gone over 1 and up 2? Well, I would have had a stretch factor of 2. Remember those? Always look for over 1 and up 1. All right. That's probably the only thing on here that actually is hard. So let's start your homework together. Let's open up the Schoology quiz, and we'll do the first couple together. Deidre, would you read me number 1? What's the question say?
Says what's the equation of the graph below in vertex form?
They want vertex form. Okay, then I guarantee you it starts with y equals. And then it's probably not going to be a complicated one, so it'll probably just go right into x something squared. And we just got to know what the vertex is. And now I'll go here and here. Can you tell me what the vertex is of it?
Vertex is 3, 4.
Can anybody verify 3 and 4? Okay. Now, if I just put the 3 in there and the 4 out here, obviously they need signs. I was about to put a plus there, but it's actually a minus, isn't it? All right. Does that make sense to you? Now, does it have a stretch? Can you look close and see when you go over 1 and up 1, is it like normal? Okay, it's normal, no stretch. Is it upside down?
No.
Okay, so that's the really common things to forget is there any negative there or is there any stretch factor there? And there isn't, so we're done. Cool. I think that was number 1. Right? Okay, so let's go to number 2. Sienna, read me number 2.
Rewrite the following equation in general form and identify the vertex of the graph.
Okay, one thing at a time. What's the equation?
It's f in parentheses x equals in parentheses x minus 4 to the square root of 2.
Like squared? Like
Squared.
that? Okay, got it. All right. Cool. Now, this is one of those ones where the kids don't see 2 numbers and they're like, I don't know what the vertex is. I think you know what the vertex is. What is it?
Oh, it's 4, 0.
Yep, that's the vertex. And then the other thing we're supposed to answer is, did they want general form? Generally, you just have to multiply it out then. And here's me doing it wrong. X squared plus 16. No. Remember that it's got x minus 4 and another x minus 4. And then you multiply all 4 parts out and simplify it down, and then you'll have your answer. Okay. All right. I think you got the idea. Now you'll have a whole bunch of work time. And this would be a great time to come up and ask me individual questions. Even if it's about the cumulative, like let's say you had a little rougher cumulative test and you want to go over, like, what did I do wrong on that? This would be a great time for that. And you have a kid right next to you with the same exact assignment as you. And many kids finished in class last hour. So nice, easy day.